Next up, we have Kunur Patel talking to us from Twitter. Hopefully she's going to tell you guys to follow me in no uncertain terms, but please welcome to the stage Kunur Patel.
Hi, everybody. Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a true privilege to have 30 minutes to talk to you about content, which I love, and especially with an audience of the top content marketers and digital advertising talent here in Chicago. So thank you on behalf of myself and Twitter for your time today. I'm going to talk about what content people want. So at Twitter, we have the unique privilege of sitting on top of a lot of data based on what people are talking about, consumer insight, but also all of this rich performance data showing us what it is that people want from content. And then I'm going to also talk about 3 ways that you can leverage that insight to up-level your content strategy. So as I said before, all great content starts with great insight. So let's talk a little bit about what it is that people do on Twitter. I know a lot of you are going to be tweeting today. We're really excited about that. And so I just wanted to kind of highlight what are the themes we see across all of this activity on our platform every day. So first and foremost, we see that people come to Twitter to follow world events. So I'm sure you guys remember when the Pope came to the US for the first time and Twitter exploded. Right, we had a custom hashtag emoji for the Pope, and an agency here in Chicago, Kramer Kresselt, created literally thousands of pieces of content for the Archdiocese, flighted on our platform, so that people all over the world could follow along what was happening on the ground here in the US. We also see this incredible interchange between VITs, very important tweeters, world leaders on our platform. So of course, when the Pope comes to America, the president welcomes him. We also see this other sort of serendipitous communication between these world leaders unfold on our platform. So I don't know if you guys remember when the president, he got his own handle finally. You know, he was operating under the campaign handle for a long time. And he tweeted, "Hello, Twitter, it's Barack, really? 6 years in, they're finally giving me my own account." So huge moment for the president, you know, in a really unique way for him to communicate directly with the American people, you know, without that mediation layer. And you know, the world was watching, including Bill Clinton, who tweeted, "Welcome to Twitter, POTUS. One question, does that username stay with the office? Hashtag asking for a friend." And what's even more incredible is that on Twitter, these amazing connections and conversations happen sort of in an instant, totally unexpected. And of course, Barack was watching and he replied, "Good question, Bill Clinton. The handle comes with a house. Know anyone interested in FLOTUS?" So yes, of course, people come to Twitter to follow what's happening in the world, follow world events, discover these moments of serendipity between world leaders, but they also come to Twitter to follow their passions. Carl set this one up really well, right? You know, a lot of people come to Twitter and other platforms, especially Twitter over other platforms, to discover what's happening with their passions, right? So if those passions are marketing, like all of us in this room, or music, like many of your teen daughters in this room, you know, they are following along with One Direction to see, to get the latest updates, the latest music, and a perspective of what they're all doing. On Twitter, people also come to the platform to share their everyday moments, right? If those moments are moments of levity, and you know, continuously falling in the snow, or everyday musings, our platform is a really incredible vehicle for self-expression on a daily basis. People also come to Twitter to tap into culture. So Twitter, more than any other platform, is the engine for making things trend, right? when something big happens in the world, it happens on our platform first, and this is how the world discovers it. So if you guys remember when Hotline Bling released a couple weeks ago, it's the new Drake music video and single, and he unveiled to the world his incredible dance moves. Twitter exploded, right? Everyone was talking about this new song and the video and Drake's incredible dance moves using the hashtag Hotline Bling after the song. But then people decided to make this moment in culture their own, right? They used this as a self-expression opportunity to make a connection with the news. And we saw these incredible mashups, leveraging other people in the news like Donald Trump. And this series of GIFs were created.
I know when that hotline blink, you can only mean one thing.
So culture unfolds on our platform, and definitely there are a lot of laughs, right? A lot of memes explode on Twitter, but serious things also happen, right? Sometimes culture, especially on Twitter, which is such a vehicle to bring truth to power, and people use our platform to expose things that aren't ideal in our culture and in our world. So if you guys remember when this teen in Texas was arrested for bringing a homemade clock, his engineering entrepreneurism, and made a homemade clock. He brought it to school and he was arrested. And it was a big news story, of course, but Twitter was the platform that people took to sort of express their outrage that this had happened to a boy, with his origins. So, of course, it was part of the news, right? So the news started to tweet about it, and that's how the world found out about it. Irving teen arrested after taking homemade clock to school. So you tried to make a bomb, was what his teachers and the leadership at his school had said. And the conversation took off, right? And organically, Twitter invented this hashtag I stand with Ahmed, and people wanted to share this message of support for this teen, that this thing had happened to him. So within a day, we saw 370,000 mentions of this hashtag alone, right? That's excluding all of the other conversation happening around this news story. And people took to Twitter to show their support. So Hillary Clinton, is just realizing I'm bringing a lot of Hillary to this talk today. Assumptions and fear don't keep us safe, they hold us back. Ahmed, stay curious and keep building, right? And all sorts of people, other people in the press, everyday people, use this hashtag to express their support of this young boy. So, do I look dangerous yet? Hashtag I stand with Ahmed. So this is, sort of all of the things we see on Twitter, right? This is what people are doing, but what are the themes, right? What are the themes that you as a marketer can leverage when you create content for our platform, especially content you want to take flight on Twitter? So there are three things, basically, we've discovered that the commonalities and the activities, the human activities happening on our platform. And the first one is human connection. So human connection, right? No surprise, social network. People come to Twitter to connect with other people. Yes, that's true. But on Twitter, not only do people want to connect with people that you know, like your friends, your family, or coworkers, but they also want human connections with people that they don't know, right? So I come to Twitter to follow the president or Drake or One Direction because I want to have that closeness. I want to see what's happening in their lives. I want that sort of access. People also come to Twitter for self-expression, right? To share those everyday musings, to talk about what I'm doing in my life at this moment, but also to align myself with movements and categories that say a lot about who I am today. And lastly, and I think especially unique to Twitter, is discovery. Twitter is an incredible discovery platform where might it be what's trending in the world today, right? Those hashtags, those terms that the whole world is talking about, people come to our platform to experience them and discover what's going on, or for a very niche area, right? Twitter is my #1 discovery engine for marketing and technology, which are the things, the niche topics that I'm very interested in. So, at Twitter, actually, we've taken this insight, especially around discovery, and wanted to create a product that helped people discover the best content on our platform. So just recently, we launched Moments, which is a sort of new experience right at the heart of the Twitter app. Sort of the center button is Moments. And it's basically, when you sign in, it's a curated list of all of the best content on Twitter right now. Might that content be within news or sports or sort of more cultural, conversational, lighthearted, memey? There's a menu of all of the moments unfolding on Twitter right now. And when you click in, you get this incredible, rich experience of videos, photos, telling this story with this rich canvas from a multitude of perspectives. Right? This is where regular, everyday people, news organizations, world leaders, so on and so forth, can all be part of the fabric of a story. So just recently, in the last several weeks, we've had some brands start to tell their moments, tell their own stories with promoted moments. So Starbucks, for example, launched a promoted moment around their Red Cup launch, right? This is a huge, holiday is a huge season for them. There's a lot of excitement around the Red Cup. So they launched their the Red Cup is Here moment. And again, they use this new storytelling canvas to tell a story that tapped into those three insights, right? It's a discovery around to create discovery around their new cup, and that the holiday season was officially here. They created moments of discovery with influencers who use the cup in different ways to celebrate this launch. And they also celebrated self-expression, right? When their fans and customers who love the Red Cup and love that it symbolizes the holiday season shared photos. They included that in the story, and it became sort of one seamless experience, hitting on all of those key tenets. Great, so whether it's through a moment or other means, I want to now share with you three content techniques that you can leverage to make sure this insight of how people use Twitter is part of your content strategy. So what are the three techniques for content people want? The first is personalized content. So as I said before, all great content starts with great insight. No big surprise that it's really, we're moving from a atmosphere of one-size-fits-all content to personalizing content, but using technology to personalize content at scale, right? So thinking through, how has communications changed? What is the insight here? We all know that communication today is just more visual. Even in the way that we text, right? When we use characters, it's more visuals. And that that's evidenced through the explosion of emojis as a communications vehicle. So just for a little bit of context, the top 10 emojis, of which there are hundreds, right, have been used over 3 billion times on the platform. And when we look back at what the most tweeted word of last year was, it wasn't a word at all. It was the heart emoji, right? It's a global, I love the Oz, thank you for that. Gosh, I should record that and put it in the presentation. Also part of the emoji conversation, not only is it everyone's using them, but there was this sort of angst building amongst people for all of the emojis that were missing, right? So people were incensed that there was no cheese emoji. I was personally incensed there was no champagne emoji. There is now one, thank goodness. And Taco Bell was incensed that there was no taco emoji. They even started a sort of grassroots movement online to lobby for the taco emoji. And so when the news finally came that, okay, it's coming, we're gonna get our taco emoji, Taco Bell wanted to use personalized content as a way to all of a sudden make this generic taco into a branded experience, right? So in every consumer's mind, when they see that taco in their keyboard, they think of Taco Bell and not other tacos. So just this week, Twitter's a real-time platform, so are our presentations. Taco Bell launched Taco Emoji Engine. And they created this call to action. If you use the taco emoji and another emoji, see what happens, right? We will delight you. So I, of course, decided to do exactly that, and I tweeted, taco plus tidal wave, what's gonna happen? And in an instant, automatically, I was served this delightful GIF of a tidal wave birthing a taco. And just that feeling, right, that Monday morning feeling of, oh, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And it felt like it was just for me. It wasn't. So I dug a little bit deeper, and my amazing GIF was one of a series of GIFs, right? When people tweeted the taco and pirate skull emoji, or the in love smiley face, or the robot, or the unicorn, and the sushi, et cetera, and so on and so forth. There were all of these amazing, personalized, one-to-one communication powered by technology. All in all, they created 600 pieces of content so that through all of the permutations of a taco emoji plus other emoji, they could deliver through auto reply these amazing moments of personal connection. And so what better way than through personalized content to create that moment of human connection between a brand and their customer? So moving on to self-expression, how can you as a marketer create programs that are opportunities that open that window for self-expression? So creating a cause. This is something we're seeing a lot of marketers on our platform do, using the mechanics of the hashtag and sort of user behavior around getting behind a cause, sharing your perspective on it on our platform. So it's moving from sort of product-only messaging to creating brand relevance and brand preference through brands with purpose. So REI just recently, very cleverly timed, weeks before Black Friday, before all of the sort of the frenzy around Black Friday started, they made a business decision that they were gonna do something different on Black Friday. And of course, all great content starts with great insight. They looked at the data and they said, okay, how do people tweet about Black Friday? So yes, there's a huge volume of tweets about Black Friday, but what is the quality of that conversation? And it's not that great, right? It's a huge holiday for all of us, but at the end of the day, people talk a lot about hating Black Friday, that, retail workers were saying how they hate to be assigned, hate to work on this day. There's a lot of criticism around how crazy and aggressive people are on this day. And they even saw these amazing moments of saying, I'd rather be at the beach, right? So this opened a window for an outdoors retailer to celebrate this idea of getting outside, doing something different on Black Friday. So through a promoted trend on Twitter to create that visibility of this program, they started a movement. And I just wanted to draw sort of content nerd pause here. I want to drive a little bit of attention to the copy here. So you may want to turn your volume up for this one. Twitter is a mobile platform, right? The vast majority of our users are accessing us on mobile devices. And think about the user experience. Like, you don't have your sound on, right? There's autoplay video in your stream, and you see the video, you see the site and motion, but you probably aren't hearing the sound, at least not yet, right? So there has to be that conscious moment. I'm going to click through to this video to turn the sound on, or I'm going to put my headphones in and listen to the sound. So they so brilliantly recognize that, and just simple copy execution, we're able to get some attention and create more value with this asset.
In the news tonight, another Black Friday has arrived.
Time-honored tradition, Black Friday.
Lines are already forming, hundreds of people deep.
Just a handful of door-crasher deals inside.
Retailers opening their doors on Thanksgiving evening.
These employees took their Thanksgiving dinners to go.
The doors are open.
Shoppers rushing out to It was a chaotic scene.
So they created a movement that not only synced perfectly with their purpose as a brand, which is to enable amazing outdoor experiences, but they also were able to create a moment of self-expression, right? Give all of those people complaining about Black Friday a vehicle to express that, right? And to leverage that conversation and make it a branded interaction. And then they followed through brilliantly through a pretty comprehensive strategy. So, clearly this was a business decision. They're going to be paying their 12,000 employees to not work on Black Friday. And so their CEO was very vocal about that, right, as sort of a follow to this big announcement, that was Twitter at its core. We hope to engage millions of Americans and galvanize the outdoor community to get outside, right, to opt outside. And then they also used content to deliver on that promise. So they asked people to opt outside, and when you click through to the website or visited their homepage, you got this experience that helped you figure out what to do when you opted outside. So this is, for me, what I saw. I typed in my zip code, and they recommended trails and outdoor experiences that I could engage in on Black Friday instead of going to the mall. So incredible use of not only enabling self-expression through cause, but also providing content as a service, which I'm going to get to just in a second. And it was the outpouring of support for this movement. Over 750,000 people took the pledge to opt outside and do something else on that holiday. Incredibly executed, and leveraging that key insight of self-expression, right? Can we create properties that help people express to the world who they are as people? So my last content technique is providing content as a service. So we as marketers, we do this all the time, especially with the rise of sort of community management, and is providing that one solution, right? Listening to your customers, understanding the questions they have, and providing that one answer. But I think what the real build is, and especially with the opportunity in social and content, is creating serialized utility. So listening as a tool, right? What are the questions we're answering as marketers within our category about our products, and creating serialized content to answer those questions at scale and on a repeatable basis. So let's talk about a really sexy category, laundry. Clearly there's an everyday cadence of conversation around laundry, right? There's 63,000 tweets per day about laundry. And when you start to look at the conversation, there is a lot of people asking questions. How do I remove this stain? How do I do this? How do I keep my whites white and my colors bright? So Tide, as a marketer, they realized this, and they said, okay, how can we provide service in our category? So they created this handle, Laundry Line. And Laundry Line was literally sort of a digital call center for people when they had that laundry question to answer it. But what started as a one-to-one vehicle to answer these laundry questions became a one-to-many program through scaled content. So, it was proactive listening for category conversation, so that when people sort of tweeted about, oh, I realized there's a stain on my shirt, they jump in and say, well, what is the stain? And they say, okay, yo, what's up, fam? I think it's coffee. All right. And then they say, not much, what's up? Not much, just doing laundry. Try this and let us know how it goes. And they created these a delightful, very utility-based pieces of content around, answering that customer question. And this started to happen, and you start to realize the patterns, right? There's only so many types of questions that people tend to ask, and they ask it on a repeatable basis. And so this kept happening, right? They created these assets and were able to scale them, basically reuse them as these questions came up, but then also realized through the power of keyword targeting, where Twitter, through our technology, can surface moments of intent through the keywords, so coffee stain or shoes white, can then deliver that piece of advice, that piece of service content to that moment. So all of a sudden, this joy that they were delivering on a one-on-one basis was now something that they could deliver on a more scalable basis. And they continued to do this with all the questions that were coming up. So, need to keep my white shoes, I need to wash my white shoes, they're looking dirty. Okay, well, here's the tip. This is how you wash your white shoes. And I need tips about sorting laundry. Okay, great, here, we are the experts, we know. And so it's a really effective way. I know some people in this room are thinking, hey, my brand's not as sexy as REI or as Taco Bell. How do I play, right? What are the content solutions? And service content, everybody needs it, right? If you're talking about insurance or feminine care or whatever it might be, right? Me as a customer, especially in this discovery mindset on a platform like Twitter, are looking for information to make my life easier. And the brands that help me are the brands that I'm gonna love. So Tide's seen a lot of success with this sort of scaled content, this serialized approach around their service content. And so they start to also look at, like, what are the other conversations that our consumers are having on Twitter? And the DIY conversation is huge amongst their target. So they've then also created service-based content around crafts, around what to do with the bottle. So hashtag Tide Keeps These showcases all of the fun projects, fun and very involved projects you can do with that Tide bottle in a delightful way that, you know, at the end of the day keeps the product front and center. The product is hero. So with that, I just want to circle back to what is the insight we have of what people do on Twitter. And basically all of the activities that we see on a daily basis fall into these 3 buckets: creating human connections like Taco Bell did with their personalized content, self-expression, right? As REI did with their hashtag opt-outside effort, and discovery, right? Creating content as a service, as a way to aid in that discovery process. So thank you so much for your time today. And I don't know if we have time for questions. But you can tweet them to me if not.
With the whole change from the star favoriting to the heart liking it, was that driven by, you know, the emoji heart that you mentioned earlier that was the greatest shared? And has that increased engagement on Twitter with people interacting with content? You know,
I know that the change was made because the heart is seen as more of a universal symbol. What's interesting, and I actually thought that when I was presenting, I was like, wow, yeah, it's like the heart on our tweets now. So yes, I mean, I can't say that was the motivation, but it's definitely indicative of the trend of why they made the change, which was because the heart is such a universal symbol for you know, liking something or endorsing something. And then what was the second part of your question?
Have you seen an increase with engagement because people are interacting with this piece more
I
than
am not
the favorites?
privy to that data,
Okay.
but I know that people are pretty excited about their switch internally.
Yeah, you talked about B2B brands or brands that are maybe slightly less sexy or aspirational. Can you give any examples or just any advice to those? Because there's a lot of marketers here who work at companies that don't necessarily have some of the kind of that aspirational brand that you can do some of these like REI type initiatives with. But any examples that they can look at or any suggestions or feedback for them?
Of course, yes. I mean, my biggest advice for B2B marketers is think about all of the great information you already have, right? In my history, my work experience, I've worked with a number of big financial companies, and they publish these incredible white papers that are really dense. And at the heart of those white papers are really interesting insights and facts and visuals. So start there, sort of mine all of that great intel and break it up into tiny pieces that are shareable, right, on platforms like Twitter, and can showcase all of the incredible intelligence and information that your companies have. So an example of a brand that I think that's killing it on Twitter is 3M. Not a brand you would think that is, you know, they make Post-its and a lot of other technologies that are very central to making life amazing and easy. And that's what their Twitter presence does, right? It really humanizes the brand. It showcases a lot of those everyday values of what they do and makes it really easy and digestible for, you know, a layman like me.
Hi. The moment section on Twitter and the fairly new, right?
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm
new.
just curious, how does that work as far as curation goes, and what was the ultimate vision of that? Is that, bringing Twitter as more of a media company and thinking of it more as the newspaper?
Yeah, so the people that curate moments, we have an editorial team. And there's a little technology that supports their efforts, but it's people who find these moments and then makes them into these amazing stories told from all these different perspectives. And the vision was really about making the best content on Twitter easier to find. It was about discovery. It's something we'd heard from our users a lot is there's all this amazing stuff on Twitter, I can't find it, right? And so we wanted to make it easy for the whole world to see what was happening, what the amazing moments on Twitter were every day. Thank you guys so much again.
That was great. Thank you. That was awesome. And right on cue during that presentation, I learned that Think Content is the #1 trending topic in Chicago right now. That's awesome. #blessed. The Amit Sarin experience is not yet trending in Chicago. #unblessed. Let's give a round of applause for Kanur. That was awesome. Seriously. Really, really cool stuff.